My computer has been a little bit fussy for the last one I turned on today. Anyways, the point is, the queen died today. So, meaning I got a text message. Well, I was going to say messages. It was one. And then I talked to them for a while about how she died. And then, not how she died, but that she died. And I didn't go back to sleep because I didn't sleep and then slept and then got woken up. So I'm extremely tired, as you can tell by it making 0 sense. Point is, I also decided, oh yeah, why don't we just mess around with settings before streaming? And now I have no idea if any of them works, like if it's too loud, if it's too quiet, or what's what. So anyways, I was like, oh, what am I supposed to play now? I just finished Hooked on You. Well, I didn't finish this game, so we're gonna go in and finish it. Hopefully. Also, hopefully this works, because it's not working, because some reason the game isn't. Yeah, because every time you put in a new game, you have to you have to redo it. At least I do. I have to reset and knew something was wrong. And now it's all not loading. Actually, since the game isn't loading, I wonder if this will load. Maybe, maybe not. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You know how it goes. Not right now, game. No one can see you. Well, I can, but that's not really the important part. Okay, not Hooked on You, but instead, Dream Daddy. There we go, and it's really tiny. Hold on. Usually I do this before. Yeah, hold on. I don't want you to see any of the edge. There we go. Wow, like we didn't even leave. I mean, we didn't leave streaming, we left this game. Anyways, well, that's been a long day. It has been a long day. The queen's dead. I didn't get any sleep. Not any, but didn't get sleep. I have to get up tomorrow. Let's do this. Well, it's been a long day. I'm just about ready to pack it in. After a few bites of ice cream from the freezer, I turn off all the lights and walk down the hall to my room. I wonder if Amanda's still awake. That kid needs some sleep. As I pass her room, I can hear a faint sound, but can't quite make out what it is. I get a little closer. Is she crying? I knock gently on the door. Hey, Amanda? The crying immediately stops. Not right now. Her voice sounds strange. She sniffles. I need to make sure she's okay. I open the door. In the dark, I can see Amanda's outline in the middle of her bed, knees hugged against her body. Is everything okay? I don't want to talk about it. Did something happen, leave her alone? Did something happen? No, nothing happened. Go away. Oh, I feel like leaving her. I don't want her to get mad at me, because like, I wouldn't say something must have happened. If I was in this situation, I'd be like, okay, well, you can talk to me, and then I'd leave. I wouldn't be like, something had to have happened. But I don't want to leave her alone and ruin it. I don't know if these are all actually important decisions or not. I actually don't know. Oh God. I see either 3 times and she gets mad, or 3 times and I win. You know, like, I'm gonna I'm gonna leave her alone. That could be a bad choice, but I wish I knew it was like, okay, well, you can talk to me, or if it's like, okay, well, bye. Oh no. I feel so bad. Okay, I'm gonna leave her alone. Alright, I'll leave you be. I back out of the room and close the door gently behind me. She immediately starts crying again. Wow, I have no idea what has her so upset. She seemed totally normal. I feel awful just leaving her to cry, but I also get the feeling that if I tried to do anything else, I would have made her more upset. I can't stop mentally cycling through all sorts of awful. I give her a bowl of ice cream. Go, scoop, scoop. Knock on her door, leave it there, walk away. I can't stop mentally cycling through all sorts of awful things that she could be dealing with right now. More than anything, I just want her to be happy and safe. I have a hard time falling asleep, but when I finally do, I'm still thinking about Amanda. After a long night of very little sleep, I roll out of bed and make myself a pot of coffee. Amanda should be up for school soon. Maybe she'll be willing to talk about whatever's bothering her. About 10 minutes before she's supposed to leave, Amanda comes out of her room and makes a beeline for the freezer. Morning, Amanda. Morning. She drops a frozen waffle in the toaster and slams the freezer door. She won't look at me. Yikes. So, anything I see, the thing is, I want to say that this is fine because I think back years and years and years ago, I remember somebody pushing too hard, question mark, and her getting upset, and I think there was the same reaction, so I feel like anything's okay, question mark. Oh. So, sorry, I just remembered what I looked like. So, anything big going on at school today? No. Okay. Do you need a ride to school? No. Want some coffee? Amanda pulls the toaster lever up and makes her still frozen burnt waffle out. Pulls her still, nope, takes, it still says takes. Takes her still frozen burnt waffle out before it's finished cooking. I have to go. Amanda picks up her bags and storms out. Oh, okay. I haven't seen her act like this in a long time. It's usually short-lived, but it always hurts. Hopefully this blows over and things can get back to normal soon. I sit back at the kitchen table, looking at the picture of Amanda and I hanging out on the wall. In it, I am teaching her how to ride a bike. I guess it just says teaching her to ride a bike, but English is English, you get the gist of the sentence. I can say what I want. Her face is a mixture of excitement and pure, unadulterated fear. I remember how determined she was. Every time she would fall off and scrape her knees, she would get up and try it again. Finally, I had to stop her because she was bleeding everywhere. Then, she started to cry because she didn't think she needed bandages and wanted to keep trying. As I put the bike away, she just stood in the middle of the street and screamed. Then I took her for ice cream, and it was like nothing even happened. After giving it a bit of thought, I decided that if I force her to talk about it, I'm only going to make things worse, but I have an idea. I start rummaging around for ingredients. I hear Amanda walk in the door. Instead of heading to the kitchen like she usually does, she makes a beeline to her room. She's clearly trying to avoid me. Hey, Pumpkin? What? Can you come here for a sec? There's a moment of silence. Yeah. I'm terrified of my settings being all sorts of wrong. I wanted to say sorry about last night. I'm just worried about you, kiddo. I get scared when I know something's wrong, and I get even more scared when I feel like I can't do anything about it. Dad, So, just whatever it is, you don't have to tell me if you don't want to, but whatever it is, just know that that you have a dad in your corner and everything just went wonky on my screen. Sorry. Whatever it is, just know that you have a dad in your corner who wants you to be happy. Honey, you know I'm bad with words, so I'm hoping I can speak a language we both understand. I pull a cake out of the refrigerator and place it on the table. Hopefully the frosting has set by now. Ta-da! Dad! It took me a really long time because I ran out of red frosting, somewhere around sad, and I had to start over and... This is beautiful. Sorry you're sad, but I support you 100%. This is beautiful. It's strawberry. Amanda gives me a big ol' hug. I grab some plates and forks and serve us up some delicious cake. So, it's really stupid. What is? This whole thing. I know I've been really weird lately, and that's just... I don't even know how to explain it. I feel like I might have to make you a chart. I'm listening. Do you want me to take notes? I guess I should start from the top. So, you know how Emma R's going to that fancy art school in California, right? Emma R. Oh my god, it's been weeks. Oh no. Okay, I think Emma... Wait, is the best friend the one that puked? Are those the same, or are those different? Emma P is her best friend. Emma R must be the one that puked. Oh, fuck. Oh, God. My icons are all being wonky. Oh, my God. Dad, that was me. What? I thought you were Emma P. You should be. God, you should be. I said weeks. I really should have emphasized it's literally been... if I do week, skip. It has been a month and a half. Over a month and a half. Anyways. Dad, are you doing okay? I'm getting legit worried. I've been doing a lot of gluing and varnishing in unventilated spaces. Carry on. Anyways, ever since... I can't believe I messed that up. Anyways, ever since we got that she got that acceptance letter, I've been feeling like she's drifting away, you know? And she's been spending a lot of time with Grace and Emma P, and I just thought it was all in my head for a while. But then I found out from Rosie M that both the Emmas, Grace, and Noah all went to a party at Mackenzie F's. On the same night, they all told me they were busy studying for Calc AB final. Yikes. So, another important piece of information is, God, this is embarrassing. I have a crush on Noah, and that's a thing. Whoa, I had no idea. I definitely didn't know that. Okay. You're a bad liar. So are you. I learned from the worst. Anyways, so the only person I told that I had about the crush was Emma R. And yeah, wait, what are the Emmas? Anyways, the only person I told about the crush was Emma R. And she promised not to tell anyone. And I didn't confront them about the party thing because I didn't want to start drama. So I just kept quiet and kept going about my business. Amanda sighs. And then one day I invite everyone out to get nachos at the mall. And after not text me back for like 2 hours, even though none of them ever put their phones down for more than 60 seconds, they all say that they're busy, like simultaneously. So I tell them, never mind, I'll just eat nachos at home, right? But we were out of chips and I really, really wanted nachos. Totally understandable. Dad. So I went to the mall anyway. I get to the food court and who do I see there but Grace, Emma P, and Emma R, and Noah, all hanging out together and eating nachos without me. What? Aww. It gets better. I'm standing by the escalators watching them, and I realize that Noah has his arm around Emma R, which is kind of weird, right? But then they kiss. No. Yes, I know. So I storm over there, and I'm like, hey. And Grace drops the nacho on her shirt because of course she does, and Emma R just like glares at me. Grace. Nothing is coming up. I don't know who that is. Grace is the boring one, the gossipy one, the one that did she poop the bed too? I'm gonna go with gossipy. I know. Grace is the one nobody likes. Or I guess that's me now. But anyways, no one will say anything, and I'm just like, you guys suck, which I realize is not the most eloquent thing to say, but I'm very angry and really embarrassed, and I just wanted to get out of there. So I left, without nachos, might I add, which only further... my siblings and I went and saw bodies, and it's just this, you can't see my mouse, this kind of conversation is so funny to me, where I think there's a few ones that I'm like, yeah, okay, I can, yeah, with bodies, but whatever Amanda's rant storytelling is just such a spot on thing for me that I'm like, yeah, that's it. Anyways, moving on. Might I add, which only furthers contributed to the shitty day, and immediately drafted a super long text to the group chat asking them why they've been so weird. And I wrote another one to Emma R asking how long the Noah thing's been going on. And sorry, I know that's a lot. Are you still following? What did Emma R say? I'm a little confused, but what did Emma R say? Oh, okay. Get a load of this. Emma R says, you know what? Let me just read it to you. Amanda pulls out her phone and reads, word for word, a atrociously long string of text messages. Can you believe that? I cannot believe that. I care too much. No, I meant like, no, I can't believe that. Like, you don't go like, I believe that. Like, no, you say, I can't believe that. I care so much about Amanda's social life and mental well-being, but man, do I not understand what she's talking about. This is all beyond. Why is my computer doing that? Please chill out a little bit. Okay. Do I not understand what she's talking about? This is all beyond me, and I am trying my hardest to be supportive. They were dating in secret for like months. So I told her that she's being a really terrible friend, and she's like, well, if you think I'm so terrible, then just drop being my friend. And I was like, okay. And then she left. Then she left me on red. And then, wait, left me on red. What's that? Oh, like she saw my message and didn't reply? I know, I know because there are read receipts. Some people say read receipts or read receipts. I think I say read receipts, but somebody's like, what do you mean? Because they read it. So it's a read receipt. And I'm like, I guess. Anyways, I don't know what read receipts are, but I'm going to nod and pretend I understand. Gotcha. My favorite is when somebody said that they were having an argument and they didn't want to confirm, but they wanted to make sure the person knew they saw it, so they turned on read receipts, and then just like for that person to make sure they know that they're like, I got it. And I'm like, savage. Anyways, gotcha. So while this is all happening, I'm talking to Emma P about how mad I am because she's at least being kind of reasonable. And I have a sore throat from doing that voice. Because of how mad about how mad I am because she's at least being kind of reasonable. And I'm venting to her about how pissed I am about everyone and stuff. And then out of nowhere, Noah texts me and is like, how could you say that about me? And I was like, say what about you? And he tells me that Emma P sent screenshots of everything I told her to the group chat that I got kicked out of. Alright, I think you lost me at screenshots, but that definitely sounds bad. Yeah, screenshots. Some people say like screen grabs, and I think that's an older way of putting it. I could be wrong. Yeah, I started on my own playing The Witcher 3, and at the very beginning of the game, because I'm at the very beginning of the game, I bought it for like a few dollars, so I'm going to see if I like it or not, but the very beginning of the game, what's her name? God, I forgot. I'm sick of my brain. Oh my god, Yennefer. Sorry, I don't know why I lost it. Yennefer says I'm going to put on my face. And I'm like, put on your face? This is a fictional land and is untied to, I believe, any years in the book, but is tied to the year. I think it's like 1200 and something. In the video game, I think they like chose a time, which I think it's around there. But like, so in our mind, anyways, put on your face. To put on makeup is put on your face is such an older term, and I mean this with all the love of my heart. Like my mom would say that, like, oh, I gotta go get ready for church, I gotta go put on my face, or oh, I can't run out, I didn't put on my face today. And it's such like an old-ish way of putting it. And then I just started re-watching The Golden Girls with my sibling or my sister who never watched it. And one of the very first episodes, I think like literally the first episode in 80s, I don't know, who knows, 1980, Blanche says, I have to go finish putting on my face. And it's like such an older term for putting on makeup, which is so funny to me that they put that into the game. But it also matches because the books were written in the 80s, and some of those takes are very 80s in the books, and I don't know. Anyways, it's like weirdly connected, and it's weird. I don't know why. It's like in I think it's Red Dead Redemption 2 question mark. It was in something that's supposed to be cowboy themed, like, or Old West or whatever. And they said, "You're toast," and we're like, "How old is that saying?" But then if you look it up, I believe "Your toast" only comes from the Ghostbusters. So it's like it's not an old saying, but it kind of could be. But like it kind of works. It doesn't stand out as much as putting on my face, but putting on my face, I don't know why, the way it was said and how it was just a little bit old. Anyways, like my dad, and give it that's the official name for them, at least they used to be, which is adding machines or something. And so instead of calculator, he always said adding machine. And yeah, to be fair, it's an adding machine, but because it had the tape roll in it, it's just an old way of saying things. Like, it's just not what we would call it now, even if that is what it's officially called. Anyways, but that definitely sounds bad. There's so much more, but honestly, it's all just kind of stupid teenager stuff. The bottom line is that everyone dropped me. Half my grade hates me, and now I have no friends. Amanda, I'm so sorry. I almost expected it from everyone else, but Emma R has been there since Dad died. I can't believe she would just stab me in my back like that. Okay, Emma R is the old friend. Emma P is the newer one. Got it. Stab me in the back like that. I'm not even that mad that she's dating Noah. I'm just upset that she lied to me about it for so long. Amanda stabs the remnants of her cake. Okay, I take it back. I'm kinda mad she's dating Noah. Like, what did I do wrong? Why did everyone just suddenly decide I'm not cool anymore? Why wasn't I enough? I don't understand. And as mad as I am at everyone, like, I miss them, Dad. Amanda looks so dejected. I almost can't take it. What could I possibly say to help? Anyways, that's it. That's the whole sortie? Sorted? I guess. The whole sordid tale. Thanks for listening. Tune in next week for more hot gossip. Wow. I know, it's pretty dumb. It's kind of dumb. It's not dumb. No, it's a stupid thing to be upset over. Amanda, your feelings are real. Don't ever be mad at yourself for having feelings. I guess. Unless you've secretly been a robot who's been approximating human feelings this whole time. Dad, if I were a robot, I would be transformed I would have transformed into a monster truck a long time ago. But seriously, I know you probably don't want advice, but I feel like it's my duty as a dad to bestow upon you a few nuggets of fatherly wisdom. Not all friendships last forever. Real friends don't do that. High school sucks. Oh, okay. One of these. Because she knows this. She knows this. Where friendship comes and goes. Like, she knows this. These things. High school sucks, but that's more like the system. So I'm going to go with real friends don't do that. When you get older, you start to realizing the sort of people you want to associate yourself with. Do you really want to surround yourself with people who would do something like that to their friend? It takes a lot of work to find and maintain meaningful friendships. It took me a long time to figure that out myself, and I wish I had learned it sooner. If the other person isn't putting the effort in to show you how much they care, it's not worth it. You're not beholden to being their friend. Ultimately, I think this says way more about their character than it does yours. Because you're amazing, and if they can't see that, well, that's their problem. I'll keep that in mind. I looked down at the table. Did we just eat that whole cake? Yes, we did just eat that whole cake. Welp, good talk. That's impressive, depending how big the cake was. Because, like, I'm thinking of an average cake pan. But maybe my cake pans are just big. Amanda gets up to go to her room. Before she closes her door, she turns around. Hey, Pops. Yes. Thank you. You are always welcome. Love you, Amanda.
I love you too, Dad.
Oh. I would kill for her. Hello, Amanda's dad. It's me, your friend Craig, who loves sports. I have nice and smart children who are good at computers. Hey man, great to hear from you, buddy. What's up? I'm still strong. Strong. I am strong. Huh. Don't I know it? You had a wink to that. It's completely different meaning. Say, I've been reading up about whey protein. You use that at all? I figured it'd help me develop a bit more muscle. Yes, I know what that is. My children are having a tea party and they wanted to invite Amanda, but we can't find her. We can't find her on here. You're also invited. Physical invitation to follow. Cool, I'd love to come. I'll let Amanda know. Thank you, Amanda's dad. I'm assuming the kids type that. Question mark? I'm assuming. Okay. Coffee time. You know dads love coffee. Gotta brew myself something black as midnight on a moonless night. I guess, I don't know, that's weird. Okay, I mean, yeah, it makes sense, but it's just okay. I put on a fresh pot and work on a few word jumbles while I wait for it to brew. I got, such a weird thing, I got into, oh my god, what is it called? I'm gonna Minesweeper. Okay, my brain just kept saying Minecraft, and I'm like, I literally have never played Minecraft before in my life. Minesweeper, and I looked up people's like favorite Minesweeper apps, and I'm like, why can't I just? Like, my computer has it. I just want that one, and they have ads, and I'm like, it's free on my computer, but I'm just like, okay. I had to go on a train ride for like 4 hours, and I'm like, okay, I guess. I got the best one that people recommended because I looked up what's the best Minesweeper app, which is the same thing I did a few months ago when I really got into backgammon. So that's who I am as a person. Hey, this one spells sorrow. Dad, ready for today? I'm ready for every day, sweetie. Let's tackle it head on. No, are you ready for the things we're going to do today? The thing that you promise you'd do? Honey, I already told you that I'm not going to throw away my I don't know who Tom Clancy. My bad. My Tom Clancy novels. They're just stacked in the living room. I keep bumping into them and knocking them over, and you don't even read them. Wait, no, that's not what I'm here about. The tea party, Dad. Nope, I don't remember that. Craig's kids? That hand-drawn invitation?
Ugh.
Amanda walks over to the refrigerator and comes back with a hand-drawn invitation on a sheet of computer paper, inviting Amanda and Amanda's dad to a tea party. They spelled cordially wrong. Just put on some going outside pants and let's get going. I can't go outside, I can go outside in sweatpants. There's nothing stopping me. Dad, just I'll see you in a minute. Oh, fuck authority. Oh, but I mean, okay. Craig doesn't wear real pants. Okay, hear me out. He wears sweatpants. All the time. But I'm also in what my character is wearing, which is, I believe, a shirt and jacket, like a button-up shirt and jacket with sweatpants. It would be canon. I also have a full face of makeup on. And then sweatpants. But, yeah, fuck authority. What did I say about the pants? I'm a rebel, sweetie. Whatever, I'm sure it'll be fine. I never met these guys before. Hello, and thank you for coming to our tea party. I do my best, bow, and present my daughter, who thanks them with a curtsy. This way, please. Briar and Hazel lead us to a small table with tiny chairs. And I didn't know other dads were invited. I should have put on my real pants. With tiny chairs, some were occupied by stuffed animals, and Matt and his daughter, Carmesita, are here too. She is adorable. Matt raises a comically small plastic teacup at me. Hey dude, how's the tea? The imaginary tea is absolutely wonderful. I taste a hint of lemongrass. Hello, Carmesita. Hello, Mr. Amanda's dad. Did you just wake up? No. Why? Those are inside pants. Amanda laughs. Please have a seat. I sit down between Amanda and Matt. I don't think I'm going to be able to get out of this chair. I don't remember who's... I think it's, the Brian's kid. Hi, everyone. I turn to see Daisy and Brian enter into the backyard and take a seat next to us. Sorry we're late. Daisy made me put on going outside pants. Amanda punches me in the shoulder. See? Oh, so you approve of cargo shorts when they're on Brian, but not when they're on me. Dad, you're embarrassing me at the tea party. This is high-class affair. But... Shh. It's about to start. Thank you all for taking your time out of your busy schedules for some high tea. Actually, it's a common misconception that Would we have this dialogue if I didn't go on a date with Damien? Or am I only here at this event because I went on it? I have no idea. Anyways. Actually, that's a common misconception, that high tea was appreciated by nobles. Dad, shut up. Now if you all put on your designated tiaras. There are little tiaras sitting at everyone's plate. Well, except for Brian's. His is a softball helmet. Oh, we ran out of tiaras. I don't think this is going to fit me, but I appreciate the thought. Dad, we're royalty. Please act like it. Brian tries to balance the ill-fitting baseball helmet on top of his head, but it immediately tumbles off and into the bushes. I'll get that later. I don't know how to do it. I'll get that later. Hey, everybody. See, he's not wearing real pants, okay? He is wearing sweatpants. Craig comes out with a teapot and a tray of sandwich cookies. Dad, is the tea ready? Yeah, it's been, steeping for a while now. Awesome. Would you girls like to serve our guests tea? No, thank you. We'd much appreciate our servants' help. Craig leans over to me. Nice. That's me. Craig places tea cups in front of all of us and single sandwich cookies onto each of our plates. He pours some tea into my cup. Awful. Yeah, it's probably way oversteeped if it's been sitting for a while. Awful fluorescent for a tea. I clink my teacup with Matt's and takes a sip. Oh, okay. Good lemonade. It's tea? Right. Very good tea. I lean over to Amanda, who's happily enjoying her tea. So, what do we do at tea parties? We enjoy the splendors of upper class society, Father. She takes a dainty bite out of her sandwich cookie. Marvelous. So, the meeting of the princesses has been called to order. Hear, hear. But, as a warrior princess, I hunt and stuff. And I have, like, a really cool sword. Can I be a space princess? I'll allow it. And I'll be a rock store princess. I'm also a space princess. A space princess? Can I do that without having so much... Can there be more than one? Space is pretty big, don't you think? I changed my mind. I don't remember. God, there's too many women. I don't know how to do voices. There's too many of one gender. The same with the dads like 2 seconds ago. I changed my mind. I want to be a space princess too. Dad, what are you? Do I get to be a princess? Duh. Well, I guess that makes me History Channel princess, hacker, rude boy. You can't be a rude boy. I don't think I'm really a hacker. History Channel princess. I am ruler of all I survey, and what I survey is a 10-hour marathon of cupcake storage wars. I don't think I've seen that one. A squad of professional bakers bid on an empty storage unit and then have to bake 1,000 cupcakes using only the ingredients in the storage unit. That sounds terrible. Oh, it is. I think I'd be a landscaper or a general contractor princess. Barista princess reporting for duty. Hey everyone, CrossFit princess here. Not now, servant. If it weren't for the princess uprising, it would be you serving me. We sip tea for a little longer, and then the girls run off to fight dinosaurs as a space rock star warrior princesses, I think. They grow up so fast. It was like yesterday that I was helping Amanda throw her own tea parties. Did she make you a servant too? You betcha. Carmencita made me actually brew tea for hers. Pitfalls of owning a coffee shop. Pitfall? Your custom blends are amazing. That hibiscus one that you gave me a while back was choice. Oh, thanks. It's really nice that the girls are getting along. Yeah, I'm really glad we moved to this community. We are too. Amanda been kind of a role model for them, you know? I hadn't even realized. I didn't even know if Amanda. I don't even know if Amanda does either, but I guess they're right. All the girls in the neighborhood look up to her. She to her, she seems like she seems to go out of her way to play with them. I'm so proud of her. You bet your proud dad cry. You better not make you better not make your proud dad cry at this tea party, Ben. You better not. Proud dad. Oh, okay, you better not, right? This is me to me, just saying not to. Got it. Once you capitalize things, my brain is fried. I brought extra word scrambles if anyone wants to kill some time while the girls play. The day rolls on and the girls all get tuckered out. Amanda spends the whole day playing with them and taking their pictures, promising that she'll send them the best ones later. We all clean out and help put away the tea sets and tables, then head out as Daisy and Carmencita fall asleep on their dad's shoulders. Take care, guys. Thanks for coming. Bye, History Channel Princess. You want dinner? Nah, I'm filled up on cookies. Me too. I'm tired. Dude, same. Playing with a bunch of little kids who all simultaneously want your attention and approval is surprisingly exhausting. But in a good way. But also in a kind of scary way. How so? I feel like I'm gotta be on my best behavior for them. I don't want to let them down. Is this because you still feel bad about dropping the F-bomb in front of your cousin that one time? My baby cousins were in town a while ago by now. And they were like 4 and 5, the youngest ones. And oh my god, like just turned 4 and I'm like picking them up and I'm spinning them and we're running and we're doing things. And I couldn't imagine how tired my cousins were because they stayed with my cousins and he's around my age and I'm just like, oh boy. I couldn't imagine because I picked them up and I would spin them and then by the end of the day I'm just like, I'm so tired and my arms, like on day 3 my arms are just like hurting and I'm just like, oh god. Anyways, is this because you feel bad about dropping the F-bomb in front of your cousin that one time? Back years ago, when one of my cousins were 9 years old, he watched a lot of TV that didn't have swearing in it, but would have bleeps out swears. So he knew where to put the bleeps in sentences, and it was enough to get people's reaction. But like one time I made a joke like, do you actually want to learn how to swear? And he's like, no. I wouldn't have given him bad words. I was just asking. So anyways, I was asking him. And he's like, no, I don't. Because I guess he just wanted just enough to make people like, but, so yeah, he just bleeped himself out, but he knew where to put it in the sentence to make it work. Because he learned where it would be, and it's very funny. I corrupted her, Dad. She has second-hand smokes now. Well, those kids really look up to you. I'm glad they have you as a role model. I assumed it was going to be such a good role model. Shucks, Pops. I ruffle Amanda's hair. Okay. Finally. Damien. Yeah, and then we get to save and continue. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to play after this, though. I need to start thinking about it. Ever since we had that picnic in the graveyard, Damien and I have been spending a lot of time together. We go on midnight strolls pretty regularly. He was so impressed with my first letter I wrote him that he insisted we only communicate by post instead of through dad book. I initially protested, but he gave me one of his old signet rings that he do use as a seal for my letters, and I just couldn't say no. Hang out with that goth dad again? Please, Amanda, you know his name. And yes. Be honest with me here, Pops. Is he actually a vampire? I remember you inviting him into our household that one time, and I've seen the Lost Boys, and honestly, would have preferred trying to see if he could have walked through the threshold of our home under his own power. If you actually watch the Lost Boys, you know vampires can walk through the door from their own power. They just can die from you then, but if you invite them in, they can't die, but like, they can walk in. Yes, Amanda, I have become Damien's familiar. I am completely under his curse. I'm sorry, sweetie.
Dad.
Turn into a bat. I don't think... What's the point of being a vampire if you can't turn into a bat? Well, okay, I'm off. Are you taking a car? Are you flying off into the night on the leathery wings of... leathery wings of a bat? One of those. Well, I'm out. Can you throw away the garlic bread that's in the freezer so I don't die? That would be great. I'm keeping it there as insurance. You understand, right? Also, if you watch The Lost Boys, you know garlic doesn't actually do anything. So, if we're going to play the Lost Boys card, that's my girl. Damien and I walk along the water's edge, chatting. Damien's cape, cloak. He hates it when people call it a cape. Damien's cloak flutters behind him in the breeze. This is going to seem like a silly question, but why do goths wear black? Oh god, what is his voice? Gothic subculture has always been associated with death, so it could make sense that the style surrounding it would be greatly influenced by mourning. Interestingly enough, though, was that in the Victorian era, Queen Victoria herself mourned the death of her late husband for 10 whole years, wearing black for the rest of her life. If that's not goth, I don't know what is. I have another question. Go ahead. How are you so comfortable with death? You mentioned in the graveyard that it helps you appreciate your life or something. I've experienced several losses over the course of my life, and I truly believe that only manageable way to cope with it is to accept that death is simply part of living. It's a single universal truth for every human who has ever lived. I am going to die. You are going to die. The life carries on without us. And life carries on without us. Doesn't that make you feel scared? Not at all. Without the advances of modern science, death was everywhere in Victorian era, and yet funerals were major social functions. Victorians were obsessed with mementos of their loved ones, even going so far as to take elaborate staged photos with their dead relatives. It's because photos were really expensive. It wasn't like, oh, they're dead, how cool is that? It was like, oh, we want a picture of them, how they look, so let's take a picture now, and like they pretend to be alive kind of, like they propped them up. It wasn't like, dead body. The miniature of mourning was so complicated that there were set periods of grieving that were deemed acceptable based on who in your life had passed. Now we don't have any of that. If you lose someone, you end up feeling lost yourself because you have no modern equivalent of those formalities. We need to allow ourselves time to grieve. I feel that loss fully, but not allow it to consume us. So no, I'm not afraid of death. I believe it is a waste to spend your life dreading the end of it. The time we have here is brief and fleeting, and occasionally cruel, and it is at all times precious. To stare death in the face and live despite that, I think, is a noble existence. Let's save the mourning for the dead. Wow, that's beautiful. I can see the moonlight in the bay glistening off Damien's eyes. He smiles. We turn to the harbor and watch ships pass, breathing in the salty sea air. I look to Damien again, and I can't help but... I'm going to drink some water. I feel like this is going to be a long one, though, and I have a small cup of water. I look to Damien again, and I can't help but be entranced by his charm, his mystery. I find everything about him so fascinating. I lean in closer to Damien, closing my eyes as I do so. I'm so sorry, I have to take this. Damien steps away from me to answer his phone. Oh no, I hope it... Why am I so... Damien steps away from me to answer his phone. Oh no, I hope it isn't Lucian again. Was that his name? I do not remember. I wasn't actually looking. After speaking in hushed tones for a few moments, Damien returns to me. Everything okay? Oh my god, I was screaming and slamming the doors. You're scaring me. There's an emergency. Lucian? No, thankfully, but I must take my leave. I remember. Oh, okay. Is there anything I can do to help? Dads do have to stick together, right? I forgot all about this. You know it. Then, come, there isn't time to waste. After a short drive in silence, we arrive at a rundown building on the outskirts of town. Where are we? It's better if I just show you. I push a surprisingly heavy door open and find myself in a dimly lit waiting room. A few rickety chairs line the walls, and there doesn't seem to be anyone behind the front desk. There are a few paintings and pictures on the wall, but they aren't so nondescript. They're so nondescript. I'm still unaware of what kind of place this even is. Wait here for a moment. I'll be right back. Damien walks off down a corridor, his boot heels echoing the halls of the seemingly empty building. Distant howls echo from some place I can't see, and there's a faint scratching sound like claws on tile. I cautiously peek down the hall and find stall after stall of scary-looking dogs. A few of them notice me and scutter up to the chain-link fence, sticking their noses through to sniff at the air. What have I gotten myself into? Suddenly, the lights shut off. I panic, unsure of where I am and how I can get out. I stumble through the darkness, my breathing getting heavier and heavier. Damien? The lights finally turn back on. Hello, sailor. Mary, what are you doing here? You aren't here for the you aren't here for the fight club. I don't want to get punched in the face. Great, because this is an animal shelter. Oh, what? We take care of stray animals and then people adopt the stray animals. Don't you see the pets when you walked in? Oh, sorry, I didn't really expect to see you volunteering at an animal shelter. Wow. Okay, kid. Way to put me in a box. Dems, you hear... Is there something connecting them? I'm getting sibling, but I don't know if that's actually... I'm getting sibling, but that could definitely not be true. Dems, you hear that? You hear this baloney? Just a minute. Thunder cracks and the door bursts open. Appearing from the shadows I see Damien? Hey. It's Damien. He looks completely different. And somehow, for some reason, he completely took off his nail polish just to change outfits. Something that definitely could have stayed there. It's Damien. He looks completely different. No cloak, no Victorian era makeup or clothing, no makeup. I wasn't planning to share this side of me until much later, but I'm not as goth as you think. I'm a systems administrator for an IT department for a realty company. Realty. I wear tennis shoes to work and I listen to Bruce Springsteen, and I enjoy going to the hardware store and looking at storage units, and I volunteer at this animal shelter in my spare time. I mean, yeah, none of that matters. I'm boring. I'm fascinated with Victorian history and the goth lifestyle. That is true. That much is true. It's just not all that I am. I need you to know that. Oh, I hate to kill the moment here, but there is some pressing business that needs to be attended to. Oh, right. The Duchess Corndella? Again. Who's Princess Cordelia? She's one of the pups, getting out all the time. She somehow learned how to open doors, and now she's unstoppable. When did she get out? This morning, I went to go sing she santies to the cats, and when I came back, she had already bolted. I have to stay here with the pets, so I need you two to go and find her. Of course. Where could she be? She always ends up running off to the same places. Here, let me draw you a map. God. Oh. Mary starts scribbling on the back of a pet adoption form. She's very smart, ruthless even. You need to stay on your toes and get her back by sundown, or else she turns into a werewolf and starts eating people. What? You're a perfect little peach, Ben. We just don't want her to be stuck outside when it's cold. Oh. I'll grab some treats and we'll hit the road. Damien and I look over at the map Mary created for us. Oh man, I'm Nerd's house. Okay, where? Other nerd's house. Nerd's house. Hers. Smalls. Damien's. Other. I don't know who other. Okay, Kale. Coffee Dad. Wait. I guess we can see the backyard. We were in Damien's. And I said we looked out the window, we can see right into what is labeled Kale, but is Craig's house. We could see into his backyard. So I guess we could technically, like, if it was like to the side, but I assumed those two were next to each other. And how many how many do we have? So this is mine. And that is Mary's / Joseph's, Matt's, Craig's. I don't know. Oh man, I'm the nerd's house? At least you're not the other nerd's house. Looks like you're moving up in the pecking order. Congratulations, kiddo. Where should we head first? Let's go to the softball field. Damien and I exit the parking lot and start driving towards town. I look over to him. He seems concerned. Shouldn't be too hard to find Duchess, right? She's a pretty big pup. Mary wasn't kidding when she said the dog was smart. One time she correctly guessed the winner of the Kentucky Derby. It was a really great year for Bark Bark Bark. I don't know. What do you think our odds are, Ben? It's gonna be easy. We gotta stay positive. Ben and I'll hope you enter here. Gotta stay positive. My dad once told me, Ben, you can't shove raisins up your nose, and that hurt my feelings. I felt discouraged, but I kept a positive attitude, and you know what? I made it happen. You. It might have landed me in the ER. And forced me to give 10 golden raisins. Forced me to have 10 golden raisins removed from my nostril cavity. But on that day, I learned that everything is possible if you have a good attitude and abnormally large nostrils. Young children really are resilient, I suppose. Yes, young children. I was 16. Let's just hope for the best. We got this. We drive to the softball field, and it looks like Craig's team is practicing. I wonder if any of the kids saw something. Oh my god, it's a baby. Craig spots us and jogs over. Softball bat slugged over his shoulder. Hey bros, what's up? Craig, you wouldn't have happened to see a dog around here, have you? One escaped from the animal shelter and we're trying to locate her. I don't think so. Maybe one of the girls saw something? Girls? Hi, Amanda's dad. Hi, Lucian's dad. We have names. Girls, have you seen any dogs around? Yeah, a big dog ran through here a second ago. You just missed it. We tried to play fetch with her, but she just took a softball and ran. I think she ate it, actually. She was a lot of dog.
Nice.
Here, take another softball. Might come in handy later. Many thanks, Craig. I mean, that was a second ago. Can I click it again? Okay, well, where's that? Here. So we should go here, or maybe here. Let's go to the aquarium. Damien and I stopped by the aquarium. Everything looks in order here, but it might help to get out of the car and take a look. You see anything? No, no dog here. Not even any sign of her. Do you think the penguins are concerned? Do you know that penguins are considered goths of the sea? Damien, I want to believe you so badly. Okay. Oh, well that got knocked off, but we just went through the softball field. So I'm going again. Damien and I return to the softball field. It looks like the game is in progress, and Craig's team is winning, of course. Any sign of her? I don't think so. Wait, maybe... Never mind. It's just a kid taking a nap in the outfield. We get back in the car. Okay, so that's going to be something later. Let's go to... Where's Bayside? Oh, here. Yeah, okay. We arrive back at the Bayside. Just like old times, eh? I remember as if it was yesterday. I mean, earlier today. So, what'd you think? Any sign of the pooch? None yet, although, who knows if she made it into any of these ships. The Duchess would do that? I wouldn't put it past her to know how to navigate the rough seas, and without a compass. Very smart. Pops? Damien and I turned to see my daughter. Amanda, what are you doing here? Do you think I just stay in all day? Vegging, I guess. Out on the couch and watching TV? Oh, sorry. What are you doing? I'm heading home to veg out on the couch and watch TV. Had to get a burrito first. Young miss, have you seen a dog around here? Oh, you bet. I saw a Pomeranian with a bow around its neck. I saw a big old Doberman named Harry. There was a stroller full of Yorkies, and a Greyhound, and a Golden Retriever. Did you see a Mastiff? A Mastiff anywhere? No dice. I would definitely have remembered that. I got a run though. This burrito has about 10 minutes before the cheese breaks down the molecular structure of the tortilla and makes it all soggy. You understand? I do? Of course. Have a lovely evening, Miss K. I fear that the hours are growing short. We must make haste if we were to find Duchess by sundown. Damien looks more stressed out by the minute. I gotta think of something to lighten the mood. What kind of dog does a vampire have? Knock knock. How many goth does it take to screw in a light bulb? What kind of dog does a vampire have? I would imagine it would be unwise for a vampire to take up company of a smaller mammal for the means of companionship. It would be too tempting to... a bloodhound. You gotta be a bloodhound, Damien. I forgot there was consequences to my actions. Yes. Jeez. I keep reading Damien's directions from the map as we drive around town. We've been there, so let's go to the cul-de-sac. We drive through the cul-de-sac and everything seems to be normal. It looks like Brian's doing some yard work. We pull into Brian's driveway and hop out. Hey, don't step on the grass, I just mowed. Have you seen any unusual activity in the area today? Aside from your underwater... Jeez, chill. Aside from your underwatered lawn... Ow, here we go. How dare you? I take my lawn care very seriously. Ben, please. You haven't seen a dog run through here, have you? Well, a few hours ago, I heard Maxwell barking at something, and when I came outside, my garden had been torn to shreds. It's going to take forever to retoll the soil. That could be a dog, or rather frisky raccoon. Whatever it is, it must have been hungry. Ate all of my tomatoes. Oh, that's not good at all, because dogs can't eat tomatoes. I think tomatoes are poisonous for dogs. I'm very sorry to hear about your garden. If you need assistance restoring it to its former glory, please don't hesitate to contact me. Will do, buddy. Good luck finding that dog. She's probably still hungry. I wonder if she's looking for more food somewhere else. We park in front of Matt's coffee shop and walk inside. It seems like a slow day. Matt sits behind the counter reading a book. Hey, Matt. Didn't expect to see you two today. What's up? Have you seen any stray dogs around? Actually, yeah. I caught one digging through the trash earlier. It ran away when I tried to get closer, though. Did you see what direction it ran in? Yeah. Matt thinks for a second. Might have been running east, I think. The pup tore through 3 pans of old grateful banana bread. Did we choose that name? Would it be different? Or is that always... No, because it doesn't matter. Because Amanda or someone changed it. Wanna take some for the road, just in case? Sure thing. Matt packages up a slice. Thanks for the slice. The road slice. This banana bread is going to be so good. I think he meant to give it... to you for the dog. Right. I meant it's going to be so good for the dog to eat. It feels like we're on the right track. You think? If we keep this up, we'll find Duchess in no time. Hey, if you like dogs so much, why don't you have any? Lucian is severely allergic. I wouldn't put him through that. But there's still dogs in my life, so that I'm grateful. For that, I'm grateful. There's about to be one more dog in your life, buddy. Splendid attitude. Let us not waste any more time. Verily? Okay, so we're here. So it's east. So it would be the cul-de-sac where we just came from. Can I fail? We arrive at the cul-de-sac to find everything looking normal, except... Oh no. Hugo's front... Oh, Hugo? That's the other nerd? Or was that... What was... It was one of the other ones. Oh no. Hugo's front door is wide open. She can open doors. This is classic Duchess Cordelia. A telltale sign we should approach with caution. Whatever goes down in there, I've got your back. We creep up onto the porch and step inside. Oh. There, sitting in the center of Hugo's living room, like she owns the damn place, is one of the biggest dogs I've ever seen. Woof. Well, she hasn't broken anything in here. Yet. Wonderful. Now all we have to do is get this leash on her before she tries to escape again. Don't get out of here, get out of here before Hugo comes home. Easy peasy. Duchess, come here. The Duchess eyes Damien warily. As he approaches, she begins to growl. She's on guard. We'll need another plan. Oh. I don't know where we got a dog treat from, but we have these. But she ran away. But this one, I'm going to give her the banana bread. Okay. You reach into your pocket and pull out a slice of grateful banana bread Matt gave me. It's like, yeah, this slice. Duchess sniffs the air and hones in on the bread. Come here, girl. Nice and easy. I got some yummy homemade vegan and properly gluten-free banana bread, if that's what you're into. The Duchess cautiously approaches me and gives the bread a good sniff before gently taking it from my hand and dropping it on the ground like a dog always does for some reason. She curls up and starts munching on the bread. Success. Damien walks up behind Duchess and attaches the leash to her collar. She immediately notices and starts whining. It's time to go now, Duchess. Damien gives a tug on the leash. She won't move. Duchess, what happened to your report? You and I used to be bosom buddies. She still doesn't move. She's huge and there's no way we can even try to lift her. Well, this is a weird situation to be in. I think we're literally trespassing in our friend's house with this large dog. What are you nerds doing? Ernest stands in the doorway with a plate of pizza rolls. Don't tell your dad about this. We're definitely not trespassing. What's the flavor? I don't care if Damien's mad at me. What flavor pizza rolls are those? Pepperoni blast? Nice. The Duchess notices Ernest and starts pulling against the leash. Oh. Why is this dog in my house? It's a long... The Duchess suddenly breaks free of Damien's grasp and hurtles towards Ernest. Ah! Ernest and the Duchess fall to the ground. Pizza rolls fly everywhere. This is bad. Ernest, are you okay? Ernest feeds the Duchess a pizza roll. Yeah, that's not good. this dog should not be eating that. Hey, she likes pizza rolls. Ernest sits up, but the dog keeps licking his face. Oh, hey. Hugo stands in the doorway, looking like he's at a loss for words. Why are you guys... Whose dog is this? It's a long story, but it involves a large dog who knows how to open doors. Boof. Hugo, may I present to you Duchess Cordelia.
I don't know.
How do you do? Boof. We're friends. The Duchess looks at Ernest's face. She's from a local animal shelter. She got out and we've been chasing her all around town. Your house was her final stop. Dad, can we keep her? Ernest, I don't know if we're set up to take care of a...
Sweet man.
Wait. Did you just call me Dad? Come on, please. Look how cute she is. Hugo sighs. We had been talking about adopting a dog for a while, but you have to promise you'll take care of her. Yeah, I'll give her all the pizza rolls her little heart desires. I suddenly remember what's on the back of the map and pull a pen out of my pocket. Got the forms ready for you if you're interested. I'll even waive the adoption fee since, we're technically broke into your house.
Hey.
Well, alright, that's a deal. Hugo steps onto the porch with us and signs the form while Ernest plays with Duchess inside. He sure seems to be happy with his new friend.
Oh.
I know, he called me Dad, can you believe it? Damien places a hand on Hugo's shoulder. I certainly can. I think this can be really good for Ernest. It will teach him some responsibility. The giant dog growled 2 seconds ago. And not to be that guy, but that's a kid, and growling a dog is scary. Okay. You should probably look into getting better locks for your doors, though. The Duchess is a wieldy one, but do right by her, and she will love you too forever. Thank you. I was distracted by Damien's eyes being still kind of red. They have the same eyes, these two. Am I right with that? Am I right with them being siblings? I don't remember if that's canon or if my brain is just saying stuff. And long story short, the Duchess now lives in a happy home, and neither of us was charged with breaking and entering. So all in all, I think it was a fine day's work. Nice work, you two. Ben, you can be a valuable asset to our team of volunteers, If you ever feel like petting some puppies, hit me up. Mary, I always feel like petting puppies. Good to know. Well, I'll catch you fellas later. Mary starts to leave. And one last thing. Damien's been telling me about you. Glad he finally brought you around. Oh, yeah. Damien's my special boy. I love him. We go way back, and I got vested interest in his health, success, and well-being. If you ever hurt him, Mary. You can fill in the blanks. I gulp. Yes, ma'am. Mary leaves me alone with Damien. So, about this whole goth thing. I, completely understand if you aren't interested. Oh, wait, I'm assuming, what? I am missing something here? I'm not a cool goth prince. I'm boring. I own 5 pairs of tennis shoes, and I wear dumb glasses. Don't you care? He looks so nervous. Damien, do you really think I only like you because of all that goth stuff? That's all cool, but the best part of you is how passionate you are about the things you love. History, art, Victorian fashion, dogs, storage solutions. It doesn't matter what it is. You care, and that's awesome. And also, the glasses are very cute. You don't think I'm boring at all? If you're boring, then I don't know what that makes me. I spend too much time online shopping for flashlights. I get excited to mow the lawn on Saturdays. I get cranky about commercials being too loud. I've been thinking about making my own peanut butter. Then, maybe we can be boring together. It would never be boring if it was with you. Damien suddenly closes the gap between us and pulls me into a hug. He bears his face into my shoulder. His hair smells like lavender and rosemary. I was so scared you wouldn't like me. Quite the opposite. Damien pulls away for a second and looks me in the eyes. Without the colored contacts, his eyes are still red. Are they different normally? Maybe that's why I got distracted by them. Without the colored contacts, his eyes are so dark and soulful. May I kiss you? Of course. Does a bat have wings? Of course. I'd love that. He smiles slightly and leans in, giving me a gentle kiss. Damien pulls away and gives me an intense look. Do you want to help me take care of the puppies? Yes. Okay, so they're like more pink here. Okay, so they are different. Damien and I arrive back at the cul-de-sac, our fingers intertwined like a proper gentleman. Like a proper gentleman? Oh, okay, sorry, that wasn't like fingers intertwined. Like a proper gentleman, he walks me to my doorstep. This was lovely. Thank you for understanding, and thank you for everything. I'm very happy I can be myself around you. I'm glad, but I have one request. What's that? What's that? Can we keep sending each other letters? But of course. Damien kisses me one last time before turning around and heading home. Amanda runs back to the couch from the window and tries to look as nonchalant as possible. Hello, Father. I was sitting here on the hello, Father. I was sitting here on the couch this entire time. Hi, Amanda. So, are you guys like starting a vampire coven together? Oh, plot twist. Mothman. Damien's actually Mothman. I didn't see it coming either. Genius. Well, whatever's happening, I'm really glad you two are happy. You deserve it, Dad. Ah, shucks. I'm going to head to bed. Catch you in the morning. Sure thing. I make my way to my room and I fall in my bed with my heart full, excited from the days to come. Complete. Okay, that's probably not the best. That's like...
That was just bricky. Bricky as in the Victorian term for good.
Phew. I think I have everything finally set. Amanda should be here any minute now. I think that's her car in the driveway. Okay, gotta act natural. Be cool, Ben. Be cool. Amanda walks through the door with a suspicious look on her face. Hey, Dad. Off to a good start. Something fishy. Rats. What? No? You asked too many questions. Sorry, sweetie, it's the feds. Who do you think you are, my daughter? For literally my entire life, yes. I'm kidding, you're right. I have a little surprise for you. Yeah, I can tell you're very bad at lying. Amanda, my dear, would you care to join me in the kitchen? Father, it would fill my heart with glee. I lead Amanda over to the kitchen table where the present lies covered covered under a tablecloth. It's nothing special, but I wanted to give you a little something. You graduated high school last week, and I know you told me not to make a big deal about it, but... Dad, you... I dramatically whip the cloth off the table. Amanda's jaw drops. Yeah. No way. I figured you probably wouldn't be able to get cable in your dorm, so I thought it might be nice to take a piece of home with you. A DVD box set of Long Haul Paranormal Ice Road Ghost Truckers. This is all 19 seasons. And bonus material, including commentary with... Okay, so... Listen. I to my sister about this earlier, but DVDs nowadays do not put the effort in as they did back in the day, okay? So, we got multiple DVDs from places, but we did get the original Stranger Things on DVD because they knew they were going to change it, and they did. Wow. Anyways, so I'm like, well, if it's off Netflix, or if we, legally, if it's off Netflix, we can't technically get it anywhere. Or if we stop Netflix, we couldn't technically get it anywhere. Blah, blah. So anyways, we got it. And, well, it's just click play. There is no behind the scenes, there's no interviews, there's no commentary, there's no deleted scenes, there's nothing. There's no bloopers. Like, I'm sorry. To this day, I still see people making GIFs and screenshots of the behind the scenes of Lord of the Rings. And it's like, that came out in, 2003 or whatever. It's been 20 years. And people are still going to the behind the scenes of that. People are still going there, and it's like, people want to see it, and I know some of these things are online, but just put them all together, especially if it is online. Just be like, hey, can we put this in, and then put it all in the DVD. Anyways. And bonus material, including commentary with actual ghosts featured on the show.
Huh.
Dad, I love this. Thank you. She gives me a big hug. I'm glad you like it. Hey, do you want to hang out with me in the backyard for a bit? Toss a little pig skin or something. Totally. I follow Amanda to the back door. What? You told me not to make a big deal, but you seem to have forgotten that my entire mission in life is to make a big deal out of all your accomplishments. So, consider this your graduation party. Surprise. My cousin just graduated high school, and, yeah, there was a party at his place, but they were doing, like, party hopping, so, like, all the graduating kids would hop from party to party to party to party, and I'm just like, there has to be a better way. So, that's just, like, what he did. So, like, they went to, like, 3 different people's houses, and I'm just like at the party for him, so we're sitting there and we're like, he's not even here. Anyways, it was fine, but it was like, what? Dad, everyone's here. Well, yeah, everyone wanted to come and support you. Is that a mac and cheese bar? Sure is. Fully customizable, down to the type of mac. And there's an ice cream cake. The good kind with the crunchies in the middle.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. Don't say anything. Just go and have fun with your pals, alright? I mean, why didn't Damien... whatever. I'm so proud of you, Amanda. Amanda smiles and runs to her friends. I should make the rounds to make sure everyone's having a good time. But first, mac and cheese. I walk over to Amanda. She's having a little conversation with I walk over to Mary. She's having a little lively conversation with Amanda. We have real fluffy mode right now. His name is Harold. He loves belly rubs and always tries to lick your face if you get too close.
Huh?
Miss Christensen? I guess they have a last name. Miss Christensen, thank you so much for telling me in great detail about every single dog currently at the animal shelter. Please tell me about the Afghan with the 3 legs again. Sure, Quadro, we call him. It's one of those ironic nicknames. You know, if you're really interested, I could probably steal one for you. Really? Nah, but I could get you in to meet all of them. We always could use an extra hand around the shelter. And if those extra hands also happen to steal a dog, I'm glad you two were able to bond over cute dogs. Really warms my heart. Dad, we're having a moment. Hey, Sailor, your kid's a good egg. Where's your goth prince? You two are usually attached at the hip these days. He's around. Stellar. Mary turns her attention to Amanda. It's not too hard to sneak a dog into college, trust me. I did it plenty back in the day. At one point, I had 3 cats living in my dorm. I decided to leave them to it. All of a sudden, a huge dog leaps into my arms. Duchess! Hugo and Ernest run up to me. The Duchess gives my face a few broad licks and hops down. We're working on that. Got her into disciplinary class. She's a wild spirit who runs where she may. I don't mind at all. Looks like the 3 of you are getting along nicely.
Hey.
She's a valuable addition to the clan. If I hold up my homework in front of her, she'll eat it. Cool. We'll deal with that later. Duchess and Cornelia, obviously, spots a squirrel and darts across the yard. Ernest follows her laughing. She's actually been a lot more manageable lately. I think taking care of a dog is good for him. Oh, he's actually been much more manageable lately. Thanks for breaking into my house, I guess. Anytime. Ben. Brian, you made it. Don't pass up a good... I don't pass up a good Mac. What do you think about the party? It's not bad. Just not bad? Yeah, it's not bad. Don't let him bait you. Don't let him bait you. Thank you for the lovely compliment. Daisy trots up. Hi, Amanda's dad. Hi, Brian's daughter. See how that feels. This is really a great party. Thank you so much for inviting us. You're very welcome, tiny child who knows how to pay a compliment. Brian and I lock eyes. This isn't over. That's why I don't like Brian. He's too much. He's too much. I don't like him. Hey, bro. Bro. This is a real rager, taking your older age into consideration. Taking our older age into, not just yours, our older age into consideration. I'm trying to be in bed at a reasonable hour tonight. Don't let me get too wild.
Nice.
And don't worry, dude. I'll keep an eye on your fruit punch intake. You know, I'm really glad we're bros again. Me too, dude. Briar and Hazel peek out behind Craig. Hello, little ones. Hello. Hiya. Thank you for all that ice cream cake. Wait, girls, how much did you eat? Briar ate 4 pieces. Ask any witness. No, I didn't. Hazel ate 4 pieces and wants to pin it on me because we look alike. I have your face. No one will ever believe you. Oh boy. I'll let you guys figure this out. Good seeing you, Craig. Let's hang out soon. Let's hang out soon, yeah? Totally. Tell Amanda congrats for us. Looks like... God, I hate this guy. I hated this guy. I forgot he exists. Looks like he settled into the neighborhood quite nicely. Yep. Couldn't ask for a better cul-de-sac.
Oh.
Well, I'm glad. Hopefully we'll see you at more church events. We got a big schedule planned for the rest of the year. Sure thing, Joseph. And maybe, if you aren't doing anything later, we could hang out sometime? Sure, Joseph. That'd be great. Yep. See you later. Hugo comes up to me with a plate of mac and cheese. The perfect... I forgot he likes cheese. The perfect cheddar to mac ratio. Beautiful work, Ben. Thanks, Hugo. You know, I'm really pleased to see Amanda going to her dream school. I'm glad she turned it around for finals. Me too. The scholarship money will really help. Amanda walks by and pretends not to see Hugo. Amanda, come say hi to your old teacher. Hey. Congratulations on graduating. I know you're going to do... I don't know what voice. Congratulations on graduating. I know you're going to do great things at art school. Haha, yeah, thanks. Amanda starts to back away. Wait, I just realized that you're not my teacher anymore, so I don't have to be afraid to talk to you. You no longer hold power over me. You're right. Go forth, adult. I can no longer give you detention. Yeah, I'm going to break anything I want, and there's nothing you can do about it. Are you still mad about the time I gave you detention for breaking my globe? Nope. And I'll have you know that that globe didn't even fit through the baseball hoop in the first place, so... She'll fit into college just fine. Hey. Hey. Is this because I don't like it? Is it awkward from the finale, or is it because I didn't hang out with enough people, or what's happening? Robert gestures vaguely to the snack table. Good stuff. Yep. See you later. Hey man. Matt. Let me know when Amanda leaves for college. I'll have a fresh batch of grateful banana bread ready for her. Thank you. I know she'll love that. Hey, Amanda's dad? I turn to spot Lucian walking up to me. Yes, Lucian? Thanks for inviting me to your party. Anytime, bud. I know we had a rocky start, but I'm glad to know you. I hope you know how much your dad cares about you. Yeah. My dad had a rough couple years, and I know that it must not have been easy to raise me alone. He's kind of a weird guy, but I love him a lot, and it seems like you make him happy. So, you're cool in my book. Thank you, Lucian. That means a lot to me. Sure. And let me know if you want to give me a stick and poke sometime. Thanks for coming by, Lucian. See you around, Ben. As the party starts to wind down, I take a seat on our back porch step. There is none. That doesn't exist. I guess it's a little bit up off the ground, but it's not really like a step, but I guess. As the party starts to wind down, I take a seat on our back porch step. The sun is setting and everyone seems to have eaten their full. Amanda wanders over and sits down next to me. Killer party, Pops. What can I say? I was inspired. So, I also have something for you. For me? Why? Not to be completely genuine about my feelings for once or anything, but growing up wasn't easy. But it could have been a lot harder if it wasn't for you. Dad, you've been there for me through everything. There's been times in my life where you were my only friend. I was really scared of going to college and being so far away from you, but I realized that everything you've done for me has been to prepare me for this, and I'm ready. I wouldn't be who I am today without you. Don't cry. Don't cry. I swear to God, Ben. If you cry again, you're the best dad. I love you. And I'm crying. Anyways, it's just enough emotional vulnerability for one day. Present time.
Huh.
Amanda hands me the stack of money my cousin got. Because everyone like gave him something, so he just got a bunch of money. Anyways, Amanda hands me a tiny wrapped package. I tear the wrapping off to find a framed picture of me and Amanda. It's us. Kind of shocking, all of our photo albums are just pictures of me, huh? I figured we needed at least one together before I leave. Amanda, thank you. Watching you grow up has been the happiest experience of my life. You're such a talented, intelligent young woman, and I'm so excited to see what the future holds for you. Knock 'em dead, kid. Always do. Amanda and I share a hug. This is only the beginning, Pops. Plenty more memories of us down the road. Memories to make and stuff to break, right?
Ugh.
Oh, I'm going to break so much stuff, intentionally and unintentionally. You're probably going to have to pay for most of it. It would be my honor. Amanda hops up. Looks like everyone's been waiting to talk to you. Someone's been waiting to talk to you. I glance over the backyard where Damien is sitting on a bench beneath a cherry blossom tree. He smiles at me.
Huh.
I'll leave you to it. Me and the Emmas are going to go get ice cream. Wait, but we don't like them. Wait. No, don't hang out with those people. They are not worth it. Love you, Pops. Amanda runs off to join her friends. What? Okay, that doesn't make any sense to me, but okay. I take a seat next to Damien as the last guests make their way out of the party. Did you know that in the Victorian era, they would call benches seedy boys? What? Really? I'm kidding, Ben. But what if? That's good to see. It's good to see you in your civvies again. Thank you. I had a revelation the other day, Ben, and I think it was largely due to your continued influence upon me. There was a version of myself that might have been embarrassed to show you my true. There's a version of me that might have been embarrassed to show you my true form, my information technology form. But what you said about me, about how my passions was what you truly admire, that emboldened me to feel like myself regardless of how I choose to dress and act. Instead of separate entities, they are simply different facets of myself, and a three-dimensional human being with his own thoughts, wants, and needs. I love dressing the way that I do, but feeling constricted by what I thought was my own personal brand made me lose sight of why I did this in the first place, to make myself happy. I place my hand on Damien's, and I feel a slight squeeze. Looking up, I'm greeted by Damien's warm smile. I'm trying to be more comfortable with who I am, rather than dwell on who I could be to other people. I can't stop smiling. I'm so proud of him. Damien, I'm so happy you realize that you can be a dog-loving goth. Me too, Ben. Me too. I feel myself inching closer and closer to Damien. I go to brush the lock of hair out of his face, and I'm shocked how soft it is. How is your hair so soft? Dog shampoo. I keep running my hands through his hair as he leans closer to me, placing a hand on the side of my face. He strokes my cheek with his thumb. You know, public displays of affection were considered scandalous in the Victorian era. Damien pulls me in for a kiss. But I think I can make an exception for you. Do. There we go. Oh, God. I completely forgot how that ended, and I completely forgot the last date with Damien. I didn't remember what it would be. I guess we just wait. I don't think there's anything after. But I guess we just wait because, like, that's what I do. I don't know. It also was such a long time between playing it before and playing it now that I don't think it was as emotional as it could be. I don't think we had the running minigame. I don't know what that is. But it is weird that it just ended with her hanging out with the Emmas again. Is that like a storyline I didn't remember? I don't know. Play testers. Special thanks. Oh, that was totally worth it. You were the best, Pops. Amanda. Okay, so yeah, this is what you get. I went to the front page earlier, and I saw that it had a gallery, and I'm like, I don't really know what that is. Okay, so yeah, it's when you're done with each run. Okay. I'll let them finish loading in. Okay.